Oh, hi everyone. How are you? I'm doing better, I think. I was able to sleep a lot, and I think that that's my saving grace since I can't have pain control. So, like I've explained, I'm on the same amount of pain control that I was prior to surgery. So the pain control that I have for my chronic pain is all that insurance would allow. So, kind of a mess there, kind of frustrating. And it's just the weirdest things. Like I'm so right-handed that, and it's my right shoulder, of course, I tore up. Pictures of the surgery are pretty cool because you can see that the bone spur in it was like this big shark tooth inside, and it's like that's what would catch. So, over the past 20 years, when this would happen, my shoulder would go, I just get frozen shoulder. No one would really know why, blah, blah, blah. And go through physical therapy, get it undone, and then boom, something would happen and they get stuck again. Well, yeah, it would get caught in this nasty shark tooth. So that's out. And my incisions are looking really good. Um, so I'm doing really well. I just cannot move that right shoulder at all. With I have the big splint that has the big pillow out and the straps are all getting under my armpit and frustrating me and all that good stuff. But the thing that makes me the worst, man, makes makes it worse, is I can't I can't put a ponytail in my hair. I had put a mom bun on top before the surgery, so it would just be out of everything, and somehow that slipped out. So my hair is in the way, and I cannot for the life of me figure out how to get my hair in a ponytail with only my left hand. And so I've been trying to show hubby how to tie a ponytail using various phallic shaped bottles around the house. And honestly, it looks more like I'm trying to teach him how to do a hand job. But I'm trying to teach him how to do a ponytail, put a ponytail in my hair, and it's just not working. And then he thinks he's nice, but I apparently have a very sensitive scalp, so I'll start screaming that he's pulling my hair. And it's a mess. It's a mess. And I wish that it was like, I think that I've discussed this before. I think that we should be allowed to, as us pale faces, we should be able to have braids and not be accused of cultural appropriation. I think it's cultural appreciation. I think braids are cool, and I would love to have my hair braided right now. Um, I just, like I say, I just can't do anything. And of course, my husband's like, "Well, let's just take you and get it cut real short." I'm like, no, no. He just thinks it's so cute when I have a little pixie bob, and I'm like, no, no. So other than that, um, it is Tuesday, right? It's Tuesday. So I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are getting all of your last minute things wrapped up. I'm in the region of the country where we're expecting a blizzard. So Hubbers took off 2 weeks to be my right hand, apparently. That can't do a ponytail. Um, and so he's off, and he's been amazingly patient with me because I get really, really frustrated that I can't have pain control because the system is so screwed, and frustrated, and it's hard for me to get comfortable because trying to lay down and get in a comfortable position like this is awful. And I'll just be like the princess and the pea. I'll be like, I need that pillow turned over. I need that pillow. I need that pillow to grab on. I need that pillow between my legs. Yes, smash it right up there. Put the pink up in the pink. Thank you. Ah. Yeah, that's what I'm like. And so he's been so patient with me because I am being an absolute freaking brat. Um, but I can say that there are times, because I'm taking Tylenol, and now my doctor was able to call in Vistaril, and that is helping. Um, so I can say that there are some times, like a couple minutes here and then, where my pain levels drop to less than the pain was before surgery. So I think that's a really good sign that I will be okay once this split gets off. I was going to call it a bunch of names, but you know, I'm trying to be a better person and not swear as much. So anyway, I hope you guys are getting all your last minute things done, and I hope that you guys are all safe and warm. And if you're in the region of the country that's getting a blizzard like us, I hope that you just kind of get to have some fun and have some hot chocolate and make cookies and all that good stuff. And we'll just all pray that our power doesn't get shut off, because some of the snow is pretty wet. But always remember to slow down and leave more than enough room to spin out if you need to. That's my advice for winter driving. So, without further ado, we're going to start part 12. And I'm going to begin on page 304, which is Discovery page 351. And we are here. I'm working with my left hand, so a little bit slow. You guys can see my analytics here if you'd like. This is all of you. This is all of you guys being awesome to me. And then we're going to go up here. And here we are. And using my left middle finger because it's my favorite finger. We're going back into more of the handwritten, where it looks like it's typed up in the next, excuse me, cock in my throat again. Anyway, let's see. Now, when I'm doing this, I'm looking through here to see that I don't see anything that I haven't seen before. When I'm looking through the handwritten, I'm just kind of glancing, and then if I see something that is not something we've talked about, then I point it out. Otherwise, I kind of go through this knowing that it's going to be dictated. That's the word. Dictated. That's what it is. Like when the doctors used to go out in the 80s outside your room and talk into the little pager things. They dictate. Right? Speaking of which, do you guys remember the all-time favorite SNL skit of mine? A dick in a box. No better gift for the person who needs a dick. Okay, so anyway, check it out. Google dick in a box. I think, was that the one? Did Justin Bieber? No, not Justin Bieber, but Bieber didn't do it, but what's his face? The other guy did. Freaking hilarious. A dick in a box. Okay. Back when SNL used to be funny. Don't get me started. You guys know I'll get started on that. So what I see here is handwriting, and what's sticking out to me is some things I've not seen. So I'm hoping that they're going to be dictated in the next thing, because I do some things. I do see some things that we saw, because I see honor system, online time card, and I can see this person can't spell honor. It's spelled Honer. And then it says not sure of actual arrival. And it says Chad and Melissa in 6:30-ish office on Monday. Chris didn't check into office. So I think that what he's noting here is that with there being no time card that you need to go and press, that's an attractive deterrent towards the prosecutor in saying that you can't prove that this person clocked in for work on time, because it's on the honor system, is which he spoke about. Is that, they get in the field and, hey, sometimes they're driving in and they see something that needs to be fixed, or, obviously we've heard, might have to go and take a shit behind one of those things, whatever. But you're on the job. And as a side note, when my ex-husband and I owned a restaurant, I was watching this fucking cook, and he would make sure that he took a fucking shit right before he left. So he was taking a shit on my time. You know what I did? I went and I started closing down that bathroom to go and mop it right at the time he was coming down to hunker down. And we had the confrontation of it. I was like, you're not taking a shit on my time anymore, mofo. Oh. He timed his shits earlier and I didn't win. But anyway, it was worth it. Very worth it to say, I know what you're doing. Anyway, so we've got that here. And then we see that they're talking about the group me something, blah, blah, blah. And then it says, didn't elaborate, personal life, stays personal, not affecting. Let's see if I can move my microphone over here. Hello. Is that better? Okay, so Chris didn't check into office, group me, blah, blah, blah. Didn't elaborate, personal life stays personal, not affecting performance. Okay. Because he was able to do that. You know what I mean? But then, another thing the prosecutor could say is that he could disassociate. Doesn't think family is in state, not sure about friends, came to Colorado for vacation, really liked. Bullshit. She fled the state she was in because she was going to get busted for alleged embezzlement, and she came out to be a supposed nanny for the deeds. They sure didn't let those details go too far, did they? Always a story not told with this one, isn't there? Okay. Didn't see Monday, saw last saw previous Thursday. Scheduled PIO in June. For July 31st through August 7th, returned 8th and 9th, took off the 10th. Okay? So we know that that's where Christopher scheduled personal leave in June for July 31st through August 7th. So we know that he was in North Carolina then. He returned to work on the 8th and the 9th, and then he took the 10th off. Because his wife, which was so sick that she couldn't do anything, that everybody had to be so worried about and everything, was able to hop back on a freaking plane. Okay, you know what? I'm going to give a little lecture here about the plane. Okay? When you don't feel good, you don't get on a freaking plane. Okay? When you don't feel good, a plane is the last place you want to be. When I was going on vacation a lot, I had came back from New York City. It was 2 weeks before 9/11. I'd been in Thailand the 2 weeks prior to that. And sick. I got I was just very sick with like one of those cold flus that you just get, in the fall. Excuse me, prior to 9/11, because this was prior to 9/11, prior to the pandemic. So this was in 2001. And I had a trip planned to San Diego to go and visit some relatives. And I couldn't get a refund on my tickets nor my hotel. I was sick. I called in sick from my freaking vacation. I was like, I can't turn around and do this. I'm sorry. I'm just really sick. I don't want to make any of you guys sick, and I really don't know what's wrong. I just feel really sick. And that was it, I just took it easy for 5 days. Because, like I say, the last thing I wanted to do was go and get on a plane and be uncomfortable if I really was sick. But that's where we get caught up into this. She wasn't really sick. She was playing it for sympathy so no one could call her on what she was really honestly doing. Any time that she felt that people were going to be able to see through her lies or confront her, she pulled I'm so sick. I'm so vulnerable. I'm so sick. Chris won't even grab my ass. You know what I mean? So anyway, he's writing more that we've seen before about the geotab pulls every 5 seconds for 100 seconds. Ouch! Engine on and off. Switch to geotab in June. 10/29, 3/19. Not monitored keycard video. So he's still talking about this on Survey all Monday until home. told going home. Can't get hold of wife. Not home. Should be there on Monday. Heard back Monday night. Superintendent called. Okay. So what he is doing with this triangle symbol, where you see the word superintendent. Okay. So when I was in nursing, we had little symbols, in the chart, so you wouldn't have to write something all the way out. And for example, like I was saying here, the triangle meant change. So you would say that you changed a person's sheets. So like you'd put a triangle and then write the word bedding or, whatever. So what I'm seeing here is that he's putting the symbol in where I believe it's referring to Christopher Watts, because I see the 1029 and then a symbol 319, and that's weird. I don't know that is the same symbol. But then when I see superintendent called and then there's the symbol with an L, I'm assuming that symbol is for, well, fuck, I don't know. Because then the next thing says texted Chris asking for update. Well, I don't know. Maybe this man just likes to scribble. Okay, so ID, wallet, purse, keys there. He's an introvert. He doesn't like anything. So we're going back to what was told to him. Doesn't like anything. Doesn't get excited, on edge, flustered. He has nothing to hide. Well, that's good. Look at this. It says he doesn't get excited. He doesn't get flustered. He has nothing to hide. Well, moved company pickup away from media. Yeah, that's what he said he did, because he didn't want Anadarko to bear the frickin' scarlet A that he was. Went to look at neighbor's camera. Got in work pickup and left. Oh God, is that his and symbol? Oh. You don't know how to make an ampersand? Oh no. No activity on camera. She reviewed at neighbors. Monday, basic routine stuff. Trouble set from leak. Survey site should be able to do. Fairly easy checklist before starting. Took a couple hours. Typical. Isolate line and pressure up. His weird ass symbol sign. Maybe it's a caveman symbol. I don't know. Now it says he has no bad blood with anyone. Funny that they don't ask that about Shanann, of who would want to clobber her. I see that they're doing this a lot with Christopher, and they're saying that, he doesn't have any bad blood with anyone. But when it comes to her, they really haven't said, because if they actually did some research, there's more than one person who would have liked to have kicked her ample ass. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you not jumping up. Thank you. Bill and I have came to a agreement. If I give him a bunch of turkey treats before I sit down here, he'll allow me to sit here and talk at the computer. He's been really scared because I have the big sling on. So he's been really scared that something's different about me. And so it took him until yesterday. And then he decided that I was his. We were going to spoon again. And we spooned and spooned and spooned. It was so nice. He was healing me with his purring. So, mid-year, okay, quiet, but gotta speak up. Okay. No fears for wife. No safety concerns for kids. Wants to get back to work. Would have shadowed. But tramped by Tony. Didn't say anything. Some word. Adol, maybe. Flustered on phones. Reached out to in-laws. Verbal consent to text since May 2018. Okay, so here we are, once again confirming we are on Discovery page 353 and 306 of 1960 if you're following along. Now we go over here to this unclassified physical 1A, 1C cover sheet for serial export. And we have cell phone images. Oh, this could be good. And they were acquired from 815, and they are cell phone images. Okay, so it starts here. And this is from the FBI and it's page 1 of 3. And it's dated, the date of entry is 8/21, 2018. Excuse me. Melissa Parish, date of birth redacted, telephone number 970 redacted, was interviewed via telephone. After being advised of the identity of the interviewing agent and the nature of the interview, Parish provided the following information. Parish began employment with Anadarko as an operator in approximately May 2018. She met Christopher Watts towards the end of June 2018, and she is on the same Monday through Friday shift as Watts. She generally sees Watts about once a week during the course of her training in the oil field and at the office. Parish is aware that Watts is married with kids. She knows that Watts' wife was recently out of town. Watts talked about his daughters with Parish on occasion, and his daughters seem to be his world. See that? That, you freaking hamburglar. Hold on. You know what's coming, guys. I have to itch my back. Hold, please. Gotta get my hair away from here, not hit myself with the back scratcher. Oh my god. Why can't I just have a tree to rub up against? Apparently I'm some kind of a mother bear has to scratch their back. Mother. Oh, oh Lord. And then let me get a drink. Okay, sorry about that. Oh. Okay. I'm going to read that again because I think that's poignant. She said, Watts talked about his daughters with Parish on occasion, and his daughters seemed to be his world, in parentheses. Parish described Watts as very knowledgeable, hardworking, and easygoing. She never observed him complaining about family, home life, or other matters. And she observed him to joke a lot. Watts's nicknames were the Silver Fox. I've said that right. Due to his appearance, and the Rain Man, due to his extensive work knowledge. Okay. So, in this, it's funny because I have referred to him as a silver fox. Once I had to zoom in because I thought his hair looked like kind of like a brown turd, but it is like more black and silver. So that's what it says silver fox, right? And then it says, because of his Rain Man, because of his extensive work knowledge. Now he was his parents paid for him to go through NASCAR automotive, so he was able to work on race cars. He worked for Ford, as we know, and then he had to get this job because Shanann didn't approve of his other jobs. And where he worked previously, he made almost twice as much. And so this job, obviously, he was mastering. To the effect they called him Rain Man. That meant, look at him. They're sitting there talking about him, and they're talking about how his girls were his world. He liked to joke a lot. He was easygoing. He didn't complain about his family or anything. Look at that. Does this fit him being the pariah of our society? Where the first person that, when you hear the word monster, comes to mind? I don't see it. I don't see that he could have done this alone. Okay? I'm not going to say that he didn't do it, because I don't know. But there's just nothing. And who was the one who had the motive? Who was the one complaining all the time? What if her coworkers were being honest? Coworkers? She doesn't actually have any coworkers, but what if she actually had people who were... Well, I mean, because all of her things were yes men, so she really didn't have anybody who actually knew her or she was in charge of. If anybody had a question about the product, she'd tell them, "Oh, go text Abby. My butt hurts. I haven't pooped in 15 days." I mean, come on. He was a completely mature man doing his work and doing what he could to provide. Hamburglar, do you see this? So anyway, it says, you hear that? That's like a Metaflight coming over. I don't know if you guys could hear that or not. Send a little blessing to the lifeline. Oh, I always said a little prayer to the lifeline, don't you guys? Okay. She was not aware of any issues or troubles with Watts' family. She was not aware of any enemies, concerns, or fears about associates, family members, friends, or other individuals. Wouldn't that be funny if it was asked about SW, like I say, about someone who actually knew the facts and how they answered that? Monday, August 13th, 2018, Parish was assigned to work on Survey 319 with Watts and Chad McNeil. Parish and McNeil arrived at the Anadarko office at approximately 6 a.m., and they left the office around 7:45 or 8 a.m. McNeil and Parish drove together, but in their own work trucks. They stopped along the way at the, in parentheses, Bat Cave to try to find some parts for work, but they were unable to locate the necessary items. Parish believes that she and McNeil arrived at Survey 319 at approximately 8:25 a.m., but she referred Ryder to the GPS data on her work truck for an actual timeline. This was already at the site when Parish and McNeil arrived, and she was not sure how long Watts had been on site. Watts had a shovel, and he was digging a small hole near an oil tank. Parish believes the hole was approximately a foot wide and 6 to 8 inches deep. Was that where he pooped? Okay, here we go. Going to the next. Discovery page 355. We're still in the interview with Melissa Parish. Page 2 out of 3. This was Parish's first time at Survey 319, so she was not aware of anything strange or unusual at the site. Survey 319 contains 2 tanks, a pit, and a separator. Watts greeted everyone and explained what was going on with the equipment. Parish did not notice anything odd about his behavior. He did not appear tired or different than normal. Watts told Parish that he went to a Colorado Rockies game on Saturday, August 11, 2018, and he told her about a walk-off home run. Watts did not describe his seats, who he was with, or any additional details. It was an evening game, and he had hired a babysitter to watch his daughters. Side note here, we do know that he's lying there because the only freaking home run there was with NK. He didn't go to that game. So this is him lying, and that's going to be interesting to know how Melissa Parish figures that in later, because then she'll find out that that was a lie, and then she'll say, was everything a lie? You know what I mean? It's like he did make that effort to make, and I don't know why he did that. I don't know why that was really necessary for him to do that. Anyway, Watts did not say much else beyond these discussions. After some time at Survey 319, Watts, Parish, Troy McCoy, and McNeil departed and went to a second site. At some point, while at the second site, Watts went to a truck to take a call. He did not explain the content of the call to Parish. Parish observed that the bed of Watt's truck was full of equipment, but she did not observe the interior of the cab. Parish was provided Ryder's contact information, and she was asked to call should she recall any information. On August 16, 2018, Ryder received a follow-up call from Parish. Parish never observed Watts travel directly from his house to the oil field. She often encountered him at the office in the morning prior to leaving for the sites. She did not recall him sending out a message via GroupMe that he was at Survey 319, and she believes he usually sends a message to the group when he's in the field. McCoy had told her Watts had a new pair of boots that he had been wearing. Parish had not seen this new pair of boots. On Monday, August 13, 2018, Watts was wearing an older pair of boots with his pants tucked in. Parish had observed that Watts normally wears his pants over his boots. Parish asked Watts about this, and he replied he was worried about snakes and legless lizards. What the fuck? What? Oh no. Oh no. I can just imagine him saying that. I'm worried about snakes and legless lizards. Well then, sir, you should wear a full hazmat when you go home to your wife then. You're afraid of snakes. And then, let's see, Parish did not believe Watts was sweaty or complaining about the heat. Watts was sociable on Monday, and he spoke about the Rockies game, and he joked with McCoy. Discovery page 356. During the course of repairing the equipment, Watts released the pressure release valve, PRV in parentheses, which caused some oil to spit out. Parish had observed Watts to be meticulous with cleanliness, but on this occasion he did not clean up the spill. Parish and McNeil departed to a second site, while Watts was still at Survey 319. Later in the day, Parish went back to Survey 319 to evaluate the equipment, as repairs had not been fully completed. She noticed that the PRV had not been wiped down, which she thought was unusual given Watts' propensity to clean up messes and spills. Parish wanted Ryder to be aware that she and Mitchell had returned to Survey 319 again on Tuesday, August 14, 2018, at approximately 7:30 or 8 a.m. in order to check on the equipment. Discovery page 357. Okay, now we have other handwriting. And it's handwriting where it says 8/15/18. It says Melissa Parish, no outside conversations, known Chris couple of months, end of June, operator started in May with Anadarko. The weird symbol that this man writes, and it can work, bounce around, just generally work. Weekly encounters with Watts, Saturday's game at Coors Field, walk-off home run. Didn't say who was with or any other details. Hired a sitter. It was an evening game. Didn't say anything about the girls. Survey 319 had kids and wife out of town. Didn't notice odd. Very knowledgeable. Hard worker. Never complains. Wow. That's exactly what SW tries to pretend that she is, huh? Easygoing, joking, Silver Fox, Rain Man, and nicknames. Never angry, no complaints about family or home life, etc. Girls his world. with Chad on Monday, arrived at office at 6. Can't see what that is, maybe 06 a.m., maybe 06, I can't say for sure. Left office at 7:45 or 8 a.m. Stopped at Batcave, arrived at site until 8:27. Tried to find but didn't. Chris, out by self. No indication of timeout. Shoveling around tank, in depth, foot wide, C 8 inches, so circumference 8 inches maybe. C 8 inches. First time at site, nothing strange around. 2 tanks. PR something separated. Not sure about fracking. Not tired. Said hi to everyone. Explained what was going on. Didn't say anything. Went to second site. Arrived at same. In separate trucks. Didn't see in bed. Bed full. No odd at second site. Moved to truck to take call. Didn't say what was about. No indication about troubles at home. Not aware of enemies. No fears of concern. Talked about girls. Discovery page 358. More handwriting. Still in the FBI supplements. Jones P. reported. Date 8/21/18. And then we're looking at these notes on 8/16/18. Melissa Parish doesn't know Chris ever goes straight to the field. First seen him go straight to the field Monday morning. Usually stays in the field in GroupMe. Troy had said Symbols got a new boot, but not wearing them. Scared about snakes and legless lizards. Normally over pants. Didn't notice sweat heat. Hasn't seen new boots. Still sociable. Talked about Rockies. Game joking with Troy. Release PRVs. Pressure valve release. Spat oil. Usually meticulous about cleanliness. Could see where spill later went to second site. R. Weird symbols still low. Went back to survey 319. PRV not wiped down, so usual. So basically what we just saw in typing is here, and it's a little bit more legible, thank God. And then here at Discovery page 359, where this is typed out, and now we have supplemental number 9 by House, Hause. So that's a different agent, it looks like. We're in a document that is page 1 of 7, and it's page 312 of 1960. So, we're still with the FBI. And it says, Amanda Thayer, hereafter referred to as Amanda, date of birth redacted, Thornton, Colorado, telephone number 303 redacted, was contacted at her residence. Excuse me, guys. After being advised of the identity of the interviewing agent and the nature of the interview, Amanda provided the following information. Amanda is a child care director at the Goddard School, 4203 East 136th Avenue, Thornton, Colorado. She has a bachelor's degree in human development and family studies. Amanda met Shanann Watts, thereafter referred to as Shanann, in approximately August 2016 in Erie, Colorado. At that time, Amanda was the director of the Primrose School. Note here, Tabitha Jane speaking. So Primrose turned to Goddard? What I'm finding out is that these are private daycares, so Primrose to Goddard. And I don't know then if all of the Primroses were bought out and went to Goddard. But like I see commercials now that say be a part of strengthening your community. Invest in buying a Goddard school in your area today. And so what I'm seeing is that it's a business. It's a private daycare. Um so you would it's a franchise. So it's just like buying a McDonald's where you can open and call it McDonald's and you need to adhere to the standards of the franchise. You have a little bit that you can go here and here where you can pick, what kind of shakes you want to have. Something like that. But overall, you have to honor that franchisee's brand. So I'm understanding from just reading this that the Primrose School turned into a Goddard school. And I know that Goddard are a private franchise. Um, they do a lot with development in the products that they buy, and they're teaching. They have like different contractors that provide them with certain learning modules, and then they'll have them come out and teach the teachers and make sure that they're on track. It's do you guys are you guys do you guys remember what like essentially what a Montessori school was? I sent my oldest to Montessori, and it was basically the model of you're teaching your children to become students and adults. You're not sending them to a daycare where they can just run around and be Lord of the Flies. Okay? What you're doing is you're teaching them. So, like, my biggest thing was like when I first had my son in a daycare, I got him right out because he's very quiet. Because I didn't have my kids be all wild. I read to him all the time. So, like, all of my kids started kindergarten at fourth grade reading levels. So when I first put my first son, in a daycare, when he was 3.5, he got, beaten up and he got bit by the second day. He came home with a big bite on his back. He didn't know how to fight back, because he wasn't used to that kind of rough play, blah, blah, blah. So I searched all over and I found a Montessori school, and this Montessori school was operating out of the basement of a church. So it had these standards of this Montessori teaching. And let's say that, okay, in a daycare, at lunch you're given a sippy cup, blah, blah, blah. Sit down, have your food, then you can run outside and go play. Well, at Montessori, you're given little glasses, you're given little silverware, and you're taught how to eat with manners and conduct yourself in a certain decorum. Okay? That's what makes me think that the Goddard schools are this generation's Montessori, where they may be, 3 and 4. I think that, under 3, they still just have them, in, kind of child care where there is more play than there is learning. But then at 3 and 4, they start them being more socialized. And the Montessori taught a second language as a rule. So they either taught French or Spanish along with English. So I would assume that that's what Goddard does as well. But I need to look more into this. This is the first that I've seen that Primrose went to Goddard. That's very interesting to me. Thank you for letting me go down the rabbit hole out loud with you. Well, kids grow up so fast, don't they? Just so fast. My oldest is 34. How did that happen? How did that happen that 32 years ago I was taking him to daycare? How did this happen? Anywho. Gonna go back a little. Because here we go. So at that time, Amanda was the director at the Primrose School where Shanann's girls, Bella and Celeste, attended. Amanda got to know Shanann as a parent of the girls. Now, let's also, side note here, this is an FBI interview with Amanda Thayer. Amanda has no reason to lie. And she's being interviewed by an FBI agent. She is explaining how she met Shanann in this. There are many rumors that say much more nefarious things about how Amanda met Shanann. But here we have this nugget I would believe as most truthful, because if I'm sitting down with an FBI agent who's interviewing me, I'm not going to tell him anything other than the freaking truth. And she, I don't see why she wouldn't either. Sorry, I keep clearing my mouth. I'm telling you, ever since I had that cock in my mouth, I was intubated, as they call it. I still have, just a sore throat. Sorry. Okay, so this is important because she's saying this is how they met. Amanda met Shanann Watts, hereafter referred as Shanann, in approximately 2016 in Erie, Colorado. At that time, Amanda was the director at the Primrose School where Shanann's girls, Bella and Celeste, attended. Okay. Amanda got to know Shanann as a parent of the girls. Amanda and Shanann talked every day at drop-offs and pickups. Amanda gave Shanann her telephone number to arrange play dates. Their first play date was in February of 2017, which was attended by Amanda and Shanann, as well as their husbands, Nick, Amanda, and Chris Watts. Excuse me. Hereafter referred to as Nick and Chris, respectively. Their friendships blossomed. They talked every day and hung out 3 out of every 4 weekends. Their girls became close as well. That's really interesting. There's a lot packed into that. A lot. Okay. Shanann sold products from home through a company called Lavelle. Lavelle salespeople are known as snakes. In parentheses, thrivers. Shanann and Amanda, legless lizards. Sorry, I got my lines all mixed up in here. I was looking at why Chris tucked his pants in. Okay, let me talk. Okay, here we go again. I redact that last statement. That's right. Chris tucks his pants in because he's afraid of legless lizards and snakes, and Lavelle salespeople are known as thrivers, in parentheses. Shanann and Amanda communicated via telephone, text, and in person. They texted daily and talked on the telephone almost daily. The Thayers previously lived near Shanann in Frederick, Colorado. When the Thayers moved to Thornton, Colorado in June of 2018, Amanda and Shanann talked less since Amanda was busy with work and the move. Amanda started employment at the Goddard School in March 2016. Amanda saw Shanann approximately once per month since moving to Thornton. Chris and Shanann came to the house and the two families attended movie in the park night in Frederick in June. Okay, that's good. Now we're on Discovery page 360, FBI supplemental number 9, and the report date 8/22/18. We're on 3/13 of 1960. Throughout the duration of the interview, Amanda referred to her cell phone to aid in the recollection of texts. Amanda referred to her cell phone to aid in the recollection of dates, times, and context of phone calls, travels, and text messages. My eyeballs went to the next line again. Shame on me. Shanann and Chris went to San Diego on 6/22/2018 for the weekend and came home on 6/25/2018. Shanann's dad came to visit on 6/28/2018. Okay. There's some good dates in here. Let me see here. Because if I go here, where does that go to that? I'm trying to see where Thayer and Shanann kind of slipped off and then what happened. Okay. So Shanann and Chris went to San Diego on 6/22/2018 for the weekend and came home on 6/25/2018. Shanann's dad came to visit on 6/28/2018. And on approximately 6/29/2018, Shanann, the girls, and her dad flew to North Carolina to visit family for 6 weeks. They returned home around 8/4/2018 or 8/5/2018. That's not true. That's not true. You guys out there listening heard it too, didn't you? She's saying that they returned home around 8/4/2018 or 8/5. No. No, there's something wrong in those dates. So we'll have to fix that. We'll have to fix that for the FBI. Last Thursday, 8/10/2018, Shanann traveled from Arizona and got home Monday morning. Amanda stated the last time she saw Chris was on 7/4/2018 at the Thornton Recreation Center for the fireworks show. Okay. Little side note here. Okay. So when you move into one of these new cookie cutter developments, they're called master plan communities, and they're very, very popular out there in the Southwest, Colorado, Utah, Vegas. We lived in one when we lived in Vegas. And what they do is these master plan communities, they buy all this land that's dirt cheap. And so they're able to get the land cheap and the labor cheap so they can build these beautiful homes, right? And they build them fast. Like, you know how Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner used to have a little Acme Build-A-Kit, for their little freaking things to blow up. That's how they build these houses. They are just built up. Boom, 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 boom. And they have beautiful granite and everything because they can afford to, because everything else is so cheap. So you have each different builder of the master plan communities vying to get you, the buyer, to their master plan community. So they do it in this way that they compete. So the weekends, we had fun because we take the kids from one master plan community to the next, to the next, to the next, because they're all wooing you, trying to get you to buy in their community. And each community will have a pool, it will have tennis courts, it will have this or that, each one to try to get you to be better than the other. And this movie in the park night is a huge one. And so they have like at the community center, which is also, like a nice place to gather, which I'm sure these Thriver gals had their little meetings in. They will have like an outdoor theater. And so it's for you to bring the kids. They'll have popcorn, maybe hot dogs, whatever, and little prizes for the kids. And it'll be movie in the park night. And they tell you, invite your friends, invite your family, invite the neighbors, because that's a sale for them. They're selling. So this is selling, and they're selling, and it's all a bunch of legless lizards selling. So anyway, sure that she was yucking up to the next, and it's funny because I've questioned when I found out that Shanann and Chris's development had the pool. And I was like, why didn't we ever hear about them going to the pool? That's the easiest thing to do. Just take the kids down to the pool every day. And you guys told me, so rightfully so, that because she wasn't paying the HOA payment, she didn't have access to the pool. So it's like, oh, that's funny. But people sit there and they'll like see a friend or whatever, or neighbor. They'll be like, oh, I forgot my key fob over there. Can you let me in? None of us are supposed to, but people do. But yeah, I'm just imagining. I'm visualizing this whole thing here just from what I've seen. Now, if any of you guys are in this where you guys are going, please go online and look up the builders and find out builder recalls and builder problems, because a lot of those master plan communities have these builders that have done some really crappy stuff. And so, yeah, everything looks beautiful on the surface, right? But these homes are falling apart. They, even in Vegas, it was the craziest thing. They were having all of these roofs flood. So, like the 1 or 2 days you get rain in Vegas, it's torrential. And if the roofs aren't right, then that moisture all stays in. And then it was like flooding the whole top levels, their closets. So then people were having black mold in Vegas. And, like I say, beautiful homes, but just check the builders. Go and find out where the builders have built in other states, and find out what types of litigation other states have put forth to those builders. You will find out a lot. And so don't go chasing waterfalls. Go and look at Google, and Google at different times of the day. I swear, if you Google at different times of the day, you're going to get different results. I don't know if it's that when there's more traffic, it can't find as many things or what, but especially like my night owlness, I find out so much in the middle of the night from Google, much more than I would find if I was Googling it, 4 in the afternoon. Real weird. Must be a bunch of legless lizards on the computer. So anyway, here we are. Okay. Here we go. Last Thursday, 8/10, Shanann traveled to Arizona and got home Monday morning. Let's count those out. So Thursday would be 8/10. 8/11 would be Saturday. Isn't that Saturday where he said he went to the Rockies game? The 12th would be Sunday. The 13th is the day of disappearance. So she got home the night of the 12th, which by 2 a.m. was already the 13th then. So here we are to her final days. Unless you're a conspiracy theorist that believes that she's hiding out somewhere. I'm telling you, I would never put anything past the ruse at this point. Okay, so anyway. Last Thursday, 8/10/2018, Shanann traveled to Arizona and got home Monday morning. Amanda stated the last time she saw Chris was on 7/4/2018 at the Thornton Recreation Center for the fireworks show. Like I say, big ol', let's bring in new clients. Oh, and know what they do with these things. Like, oh, you could win this. Oh my gosh, win this drawing. There's hardly anybody even putting the drawing in. Put your bid in. Come on, just sign. It'll take you 2 seconds. Yeah, because then they'll never leave you alone. Because when you're entering their drawing, then they have your number and they think that you're a possible new client. And I swear they look for the person who's most likely to commit that wins those things. And so, anywho, Amanda went with Nick and her daughter, Amelie. Okay, Amanda went with Nick and her daughter, Amelie. Okay, the way they're putting this is Amelie. Amelie? Emily? Amelie? Emily? How do you have Emily with an A? Maybe it's Amelia. And her brother-in-law and sister-in-law. Oh, I bet you that master plan community was excited with all these new leads. At that time, Shanann was in North Carolina. Ah, so Chris went there, and she didn't. Oh, I see. Amanda overheard Chris talking to Nick about Shanann, trying to FaceTime Chris. But the service wasn't great. Chris was telling Nick he tries to hide if he's having any fun when Shanann's out of town because it upsets her. No. No. No, no, no. No. I'm going to read that again. Chris was telling Nick he tries to hide it if he's having any fun when Shanann's out of town because it upsets her. Okay, so this bitch can be at any MLM thing acting like she's, the source of all of the wine, like the wine is going through her, like she is the source of the alcohol fountain, that she is just standing there and pouring it in and it's pouring back out of her. She's standing there like a shot girl in Coyote Ugly and having these wonderful times at these legless lizard conventions, and she's smiling and she's all over the other Chris, and she comes home pregnant and he gets mad if she's having fun. What? Christopher, why didn't you get a divorce and run? Imagine another man having to say that to another man. To hide it if I'm having fun. I'm trying to FaceTime right now, so can you kind of back out of the picture and make it look like I'm real morose here and that I'm just real sad without her and I don't know what to do. Okay? Back out of the frame. No smiling, no noises. I'm gonna go hide in the bushes, okay? Then, hi, Shanann. Yeah, I'm not having any fun, Shanann. Nope. The girls are just fine. Yes, I'll be home by... Yes, okay. I'm sorry I didn't lock them up yet. I'm letting them out just this one time. Oh, you said I can't? Okay, girls, gotta go. Gotta go get meds and lock you up. Sorry. Bye, guys. Gotta go. I mean, honestly, that's what she would have wanted, right? To make sure the control was always there. So that if she's out having fun and fucking around, doing whatever else, it's fine. But if he is out having fun with the girls at a family event, he can't even show his happiness. And you want to say that he is the controlling narcissist? No. Tisk, tisk, tisk. This poor man. Okay, so anyway. Chris further stated that if he doesn't answer the phone, like when he's in the shower or working out, Shanann gets upset. Okay. Let's do that one more time. Chris further stated that if he doesn't get an answer on his phone... Oh, here we go. Chris further stated that if he doesn't answer his phone, like when he is in the shower or working out, Shanann gets upset. Let's reverse the roles. If a woman said, oh my gosh, I need to hide because if he sees me having fun and he's not with me, he's gonna get really mad, and so I need to come over here and like film over here and just kind of don't look at me or anything because I have to look sad. And it's the same way, like if he calls and I'm in the shower, or if I'm working out and I don't answer the phone right away, he gets mad, and I don't want him to get mad. What would anybody say to that person? Anybody, without a doubt, would say that's abusive. He's a controlling, narcissistic piece of shit. Get away. So why did he have to endure this because he's a male? She was abusive and controlling to the nth degree. And everybody just thinks, oh, it's cute. They have such a secure marriage. No, that's controlling. That's disgusting. And anybody who sat here and enabled it has as much guilt on their conscience as anybody. This is ridiculous. Christopher has a good reputation and has behaved on every single level to anybody. There is no bad accounts of Christopher Watts. And when you hear about how clean he is at the workplace, doesn't it make you wonder how clean he kept his home? You know? He was a part of that home being clean. And he was very much a part of making what she wanted to look beautiful be beautiful. Oh, God. So messed up. Amanda had a telephone conversation with Shanann just before Shanann and the girls left for North Carolina. Shanann told Amanda that she and Chris were very close, like their hands were all over each other. Why would you need to tell your friend that? If my friend tried to tell me that, I'd be like, gross, what are you doing? Like, I don't want to know. I've never heard an adult say that. I've never had an adult say that to me. That me and my spouse's, me and my husband's hands are all over each other. What the hell? I'd be like, great. Fuck off now. Amanda's brother recently passed away. Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Thayer. And Shanann had been comforting her recently. Oh, please, what a comfort. On Thursday, 8/9 of 2018, Amanda texted Shanann to see if she was available for a three-way call to discuss Lavelle business issues. Shanann responded by text saying she was available, then stated, "Sorry for being so distant. A lot is going on personally." Amanda asked if she was okay and if she wanted to talk, and Shanann responded, "Way too much to text." Amanda asked Shanann to call her. Amanda and Shanann began a phone conversation on 8/9/2018 at 7 a.m. Amanda stated the following about that conversation. Okay, this is ridiculous. Amanda is dealing with the grief and loss of her brother. And instead of Shanann being a comfort to her, it's once again turned into all about Shanann. And that's just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. So the conversation went like this. The first week Shanann and the girls were in North Carolina, she and Chris had a lot of phone sex at that time. Oh my God. Oh my God. No. Why would, okay, so this poor lady is in grief over her brother. And she calls to talk to Shanann because she figures she's always there for Shanann, right? So Shanann's like, yeah, well, things aren't great, and she's like, okay, well, we're going to do a three-way call with Lavelle. Because this is what I've seen every single time it turns out to be about the product or a question about the product. Shanann deflects to something else. She's not this incredible salesperson. She's incredibly manipulative, you see, but not in the way that she's making this product glisten or be something that anybody wants. This is ridiculous. So I'm gonna read this one more time, just because. So this is her comforting her friend who just lost her brother. Selfish Shanann here. The first week Shanann and the girls were in Colorado, She and Chris had a lot of phone sex at that time. Shanann also said there was an incident involving Chris's mother involving ice cream. Oh, yes, this is Nutgate. All of the grandkids were over at the house, and the girls wanted ice cream. However, Celeste is allergic. One of the other children got ice cream with peanuts, and Celeste asked for some. When Chris's mom said no, an argument between Shanann and Chris's mom ensued about Shanann coddling Celeste and about the treatment of her kids in general. Well, go Cindy. And that's a lot different than what we've heard this be. Amanda Thayer's account of what Shanann just said is so much different than what we've been told, in that basically there were bowls of nuts all over and that it was pistachio ice cream and blah, 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 blah. Because, listen to this one more time from Amanda Thayer. We're going to go through this one more time because this is huge. The first week Shanann and the girls were in North Carolina. She and Chris had a lot of phone sex at that time. What that has to do with anything, I don't know. Shanann also said there was an incident involving Chris's mother involving ice cream. All the grandkids were over at the house and the girls wanted ice cream. So the girls, as in Bella and Cece. However, Celeste is allergic. One of the other children got ice cream with peanuts, and Celeste asked for some. When Chris's mom said no, an argument between Shanann and Chris's mom ensued about Shanann coddling Celeste and about the treatment of her kids in general. Sounds to me like Shanann was making an ass of herself, as usual. Chris flew to North Carolina to join the family during the last week there. Chris was very distant. He didn't run to her and kiss her at the airport when they picked him up. Chris was not interested in taking pictures together, which was very unusual. At certain times, Chris didn't want to hug her and told her he didn't want to. Chris was not communicating and Shanann felt lost. Well, in North Carolina, Celeste had a birthday party. Chris's mother and father didn't show up, and also didn't text Shanann or Chris. Since that time, Chris started to get distant from Shanann. Shanann thought Chris's parents loved the other grandkids. Oh my God, can you believe this? Shanann thought Chris's parents loved the other grandkids more than Celeste and Bella. It was a burden for them to talk to Celeste and Bella. Chris's parents also did not attend Shanann and Chris's wedding. Chris told Shanann that Shanann was putting a barrier between Chris and his dad. Chris told Shanann that they were no longer compatible. Chris told her he didn't want the baby. He just wanted it to be the two girls. Side note again, this is her comforting Amanda, who just lost her brother. Just a little side note here. One more time. Chris told her he didn't want the baby. One more time. I can't shut myself up. Remember how she was telling everybody that Chris wanted this baby and it's his responsibility that now that she's gained weight, it's his problem because he wanted this baby and he got her pregnant? Here we go. Sorry, I'm Watson out. Here we go. God. Chris told her he didn't want the baby. He just wanted it to be the two girls. Chris told her he wasn't sure that he wanted a third child. Shanann asked Chris why he wanted another child if he felt that way about her. He asked her. He said he thought it would fix the relationship. They were having a lot of sex. Prior to the North Carolina trip, Shanann and Chris were both happy, and Chris was excited about the baby. No. Chris said he was considering separating from Shanann. Shanann asked Chris to see a therapist, but he refused. Shanann was 100% against a separation. Chris wouldn't talk to her. Well, it doesn't matter if you're the one against a separation when you're the one fucking around. Anyway, during the above conversation, I slipped up here. I watched out. During the above conversation, Amanda suggested to Shanann that she and Chris go away for the weekend. Oh my God. During the above conversation, Amanda suggested to Shanann that she and Chris go away for the weekend of 8/17/2018. Amanda offered to watch the kids and the dog. Okay, I'm watsing out. I'm. This was a call. This woman just lost her brother. And this turned into be all about Shanann and Shanann not getting enough sex and touched enough. And Amanda is going through grief. And this is how this conversation's going. Oh, I'm about to have a Watt stroke. Oh, Lord. Okay. All right, I'm going to settle down. Okay. I got to stop Watson out. This is craziness. This is not a friendship. Not a good friend. Not a good friend at all. So Amanda offered to watch the kids and dog. Shanann texted back on 8/9/2018 at 1:15 p.m. and stated, Chris agreed to go away, which I'm in total shock. Sure you don't mind? Friday or Saturday, which day works for you? Amanda was at work, so she didn't respond. Shanann texted again at 6:18 p.m. and said, if we Friday, what time could you be here? After 6 o'clock. Amanda said yes, and Shanann agreed. Amanda stated that was the last text she received from Shanann. Amanda traveled to Kentucky for her brother's funeral. I'll read that again. Amanda traveled to Kentucky for her brother's funeral. So Amanda was trying to talk to this bitch about her grief and troubled emotions. And Shanann turns it into, oh, yeah, call me. Like, fights over ice cream, fights over who's grabbing your ass, fights over having sex have anything to do with the amount of pain and loss that Amanda is feeling? Well, obviously, it was very recent because her brother hadn't even been buried. And that's the kind of friend Shanann Watts was. Let's just note that. It was never a two-way relationship. It was all about her. Lest anybody ever forget, she was the queen of the Dirty South. Please refer to my previous recording on the Queen of the Dirty South. Shall you have any questions about what I'm saying? It's just so messed up. How do people continue to be around this woman? I'm telling you, I'm having a Watt stroke. I'm going to have to knock myself out. Go back. I feel so bad for Amanda. I feel so bad for her. She needed a friend. She needed a friend, and then this asshole is asking her to watch her kids when she'd just been gone for 6 weeks and comparing fights over ice cream about grief. Oh, all right. Oh, my God. All right, here I go. Maybe I need some Tums. Getting heartburn from this. All right, I'll try it. Okay, I'm going to need a drink. Here we go. Amanda traveled to Kentucky for her brother's funeral. When she arrived there, she texted Shanann on Friday, 8/10/2018, at 8 p.m. Amanda asked Shanann if she'd found out the sex of the baby. There was no response from Shanann, which was unusual. Amanda sent a new message via Facebook Messenger to mutual friend Cassandra Rosenberg and told her she hadn't heard from Shanann. Amanda and Rosenberg talked. On Monday, 8/13/2018, Amanda and Nick arrived back in Colorado from Kentucky at approximately 2:30 p.m. Amanda had a few messages from friends. We're on Discovery page 362. Page 315 of 1,960 in case you're keeping up. We're on FBI Supplemental 9 and the report dated 8/22/18. We are on page 4 of 7 in the interview of Amanda Thayer. They were asking if Amanda heard from Shanann. Amanda texted Shanann at 2:57 p.m. Hey lady, we just got back. Let's chat this weekend. Amanda received a familiar auto reply from Shanann that she said that she used whenever she was driving. Safety first, I'm driving with do not disturb. Will driving turned on. I'll see your message when I get whore. Was that a typo? It says I get whore, I'm going. Maybe it says where. I think it says whore. Silly typo. Maybe it's where. But when I get where I'm going. Whore. The last part of the auto reply had some extra wording Amanda hadn't seen before, which stated, I'm not receiving notifications. If this is urgent, reply urgent to send a notification through with your original message. Amanda sent one more message to Shanann asking when Shanann was getting back to Colorado, but received no response. Because maybe Amanda had some needs, maybe Amanda needed some comforting, and maybe because Shanann was incapable of a two-way relationship. Anyway, Rosenberg called Amanda at 4:09 p.m. on 8/13/2018. They talked about Shanann being missing and shared thoughts. At 4:17 p.m. on 8/13/2018, Nicole Utoft called Amanda. Utoft is also a Lavelle Thriver, in parentheses. Utoft was upset about Shanann disappearing. Utoft talked to the police. Utoft told Amanda that Shanann's purse, car, phone, and the girl's medication were all at the home. Utoft was aware of the neighbor's security camera, which showed Chris backing up his truck and heading to work. Utoft said Chris had stuff in his garage for work. Utoft told Amanda that Chris's story had changed. Amanda stated she could not recall what other story Chris had told. Utoft further told Amanda that Chris told Rosenberg one thing and told Utoft another thing. When Amanda arrived home from their Kentucky trip and were unpacking, they were worried about Chris. Okay, when Amanda and Nick arrived home from their Kentucky trip and were unpacking, they were worried about Chris. So Nick texted Chris. And mind you, this is because they were in Kentucky for Amanda Thayer's brother's funeral, which I see nobody comforting Amanda Thayer. And her having to go through this while the loss of her brother, that's very sad. I'm sorry, Miss Thayer. So they were worried about Chris. So Nick texted Chris. Amanda and Nick decided to go see Chris. They arrived at Chris's house around 6 o'clock or 6:30 p.m. They asked Chris what happened and where was Shanann, and what was known and not known. And Chris's phone was blowing up, in parentheses, blowing up. While standing inside the home near the doorway, Chris told Amanda and Nick the following. Chris and Shanann were having problems and were separating. Around 4 a.m. that morning, Chris got up for work, and Shanann got up with him. He wanted to get it out and be done with it. Chris told Shanann he wanted a separation and wanted to sell the house. They had been talking about selling the house for weeks. Okay? And side note, this is proven in other texts that we've seen from North Carolina. So we've seen it in print and we'll see it again. This is actually true what Chris is saying. So, they had been talking about selling the house for weeks. Now, in parentheses, Amanda stated that Shanann had not told her about that. Okay, side note. Sorry, Miss Thayer. Shanann wasn't telling you a lot. Back to the script. Chris said things are really tight and they wanted a smaller house because they didn't need all that room. Chris said they got all that house because it was like Shanann's house in North Carolina and it made her happy. When Chris left for work, Shanann was emotional and crying. Chris got a call from Utoft around 11 a.m. or 12, and Utoft had been trying to get a hold of Shanann. Utoft went to the house but couldn't get in. When Chris got home, Utoft had called the police. He saw Utoft peeking in the windows to get in. Chris opened the door and Utoft let herself in and started searching the house. Oh, she just started a big fat ass search in the house. Okay. Utoft was telling her son where to go and where to look at places in the house. Okay. Why would anybody barge past the husband and the police and be telling their son where to go in the house? My son wouldn't know anybody else that well. That's not right. Amanda stated that by that time in the conversation, they had moved into the kitchen. Chris was pacing. Amanda recalled asking him questions about the windows and doors and if they were locked, and Chris seemed numb and lost. His face looked like Amanda's when she lost her brother. Almost like not believing it. Side note here, how would Amanda know what her own face looked like? Back to the script. Chris said he noticed a taxi cab charge on his credit card statement, which posted on 8/13/2018. Amanda asked Utoft, whom Shanann traveled to Arizona with, if she and Shanann took a taxi ride. Utoft told Amanda she and Shanann took one Lyft ride. Chris mentioned it was too quiet in the house. He just wanted to hug and hold them. Wanted them all to come back. Chris stated, "It's empty here. I need my family back." Chris talked about how bizarre it was that Shanann didn't have her phone with her. And Chris, Amanda, and Nick talked about going door to door to ask the neighbors the questions. But they found out the police were already doing that. Amanda and Nick were trying to call people for any information. Chris said he had called the hospitals in the area. Amanda and Nick stayed at Chris's house until approximately 8 p.m. They offered to have Chris stay the night at their home, and Chris said he wanted to stay at his house in case they came home, and he wanted to clean up the kids' toys. Chris said, "I want to clean up for them when they come home." Amanda got the impression that Chris thought Shanann left just because she was angry. So I'm going to read that again. Amanda got the impression that Chris thought Shanann left just because she was angry. The next day, 8/14/2018, Amanda and Nick were with Chris most of the day. They arrived at Chris's house at around 9 a.m. and stayed until approximately 4 p.m. There was a lot of silence during the day. They talked about the news crews, some canines walked through the house, and police were all around. Amanda was spending time on Facebook providing updates. Chris mentioned that his dad was coming to town. Shanann's mother called Chris and was disrespectful towards him. Amanda and Nick invited Chris to spend the night at their home, and Chris accepted. Yeah, after Mama Rue read him the riot act. Amanda and Nick returned home. Chris still had news people at his house, and they waited till they left. In anticipation of Chris coming to the house, the Thayers ordered pizza. 15 or 20 minutes later, Nick told Amanda that Chris was going to get interviewed by the FBI. Discovery page 364. I want to see where this ends. Okay, we're going to go through the rest of Thayer, and then we're going to quit. Because my shoulder's starting to cramp up. Okay, Amanda and Nick went to the Frederick Police Department at approximately 7:30 p.m., where they waited in the car until approximately 11 p.m. When Chris came out, Chris said he wasn't allowed to go to his house Since they were searching it that night and in the morning, Chris followed Nick and Amanda to their house. At the Thayer home, Chris talked about how the interview went. He said one guy interviewed him and was aggressive and accusatory, asking, "What did you do with your wife and children?" The interviewer then went back to the nice talk and being supportive. Chris stated he was asked the same question multiple times in different ways. He was asked about a polygraph, and he said he'd take one. At one point, the interviewer left and came back and told Chris to come back in the morning for a polygraph. Amanda, Nick, and Chris all went to bed. The morning of 8/15, 2018, Amanda and Nick awoke at approximately 6 a.m. and took their daughter to school. Chris was still upstairs. Chris came down approximately 10 minutes after Amanda and Nick returned. Amanda stated Chris seemed like a lost puppy and was pacing. Chris said he was going to work, but his work told him no. Chris was waiting to hear from his mom and his dad's flight. Chris was waiting to hear from his mom about his dad's flight. Chris left around 9:30 a.m. to get his dad from the airport. Chris and Shanann shared their Lexus. They previously had an Explorer, but were currently just using the Lexus and his work truck. Chris worked at an oil company in the oil fields where he does maintenance. Hold on. I'm going to say this one more time. It says Chris and Shanann shared their Lexus. They previously had an Explorer, but were currently just using the Lexus and his work truck. Okay, so Chris had his work truck, and then the only other family vehicle they had was the Lexus, which arguably was or was not, I'm not going to get into it right now, financed through her selling, or she was spending so much in that, yes, by default, she was getting a vehicle. But there are people who say that she has a Suburban and an Explorer and all that. No, this is in the FBI's wording, and here we go. They had the truck, the work truck for family. No, not for family. They had the work truck for what he needed to do with work, and the Lexus for family things. That's it. They had those two vehicles. So I'm going to read it one more time. Chris and Shanann shared their Lexus. Their Lexus. They previously had an Explorer. See, his name is the only name on the Lexus. Her name was not. But we're currently just using the Lexus and his work truck. Chris worked at an oil company and in the oil fields where he does maintenance. Okay, we know that. Shanann never mentioned anything about their financial situation. Amanda stated Shanann had lots of clothes and had her nails done about every 2 weeks. Shanann never said a word to Amanda about Chris seeing other women. At one point, Shanann speculated about Chris maybe having an affair, but dismissed it because Chris didn't have game. Well, Ann Kay thinks that boy had some game. Amanda stated she left a message with a detective about the fact that Shanann always wore her iWatch, which was missing. Amanda stated she would preserve all the phone, text, and calendar data on her phone. Okay, so we're going down here. And we're ending here at, let's see where we're going to actually begin. Maybe that will be more helpful. Because we will begin on 366. And that is 3/19 of 1960. So we did 304 to 319 today. And we did discovery pages 351 to 366. And we will leave here. I think that there's a lot of good clarification in Amanda Thayer's interview. I think she's a very credible witness. I think that the sad thing is that she was just another pawn in Shanann's game of Shanann. I mean, what do you even call it? I mean, it was all about her. It was never about the product. Have you seen any of these texts or anything that have anything to do with a product, a new product coming out, something about the product, something about a new sale? No, you don't. Um, you just hear about her needs, how other people are treating her, what she needs, what she wants, and that just shows that she is so very incredibly immature, and it's just sad overall. I mean, that's all I can really say. It's sad. Um so thank you so much for listening and getting through another little block of this. We're getting further and finding the facts and the truth and where they come from. And um I noted too there was no gender reveal when her friend asked her straight up if she did the gender reveal. There was no answer. She asked her that on that Friday too. So um we're getting closer to the truth and that not ever being true. So thanks again. I will probably try to do another one tomorrow. If not later, we'll see how I'm feeling. Thanks for all the love and all the prayer. I feel it. I really do. And I love you guys. Please like and subscribe. It means so much to me. Thank you so much. Bye bye.